Kane Vision welcomes in John Barfeld, who is the head coach of the American Athletic Conference regular season champion, University of Tulsa Golden Hurricane. That sounds pretty good, and it's kind of unusual for you to clinch the regular season title before the regular season is over, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's ever happened before. Maybe one other time, but this time we won it. I don't think last time maybe somebody lost later in the day, you know, that clinched it for us early, but it was a good feeling to get that clinched, obviously.
What's been the key? I mean, 14-1. You don't have many 14-1 league records in softball because of the 3-game series, and sometimes you drop one here and there. What's been the key to winning so many?
I just think that we've been really steady with the pitching and the defense. You know, those are things that you know, through the conference season have been, like I said, you can count on them almost. You know, and that's kind of the way of the game. If you can get a great defense out there, and then you can get pitching that you know, is consistent, because hitting, you know, depending on who you're facing, that's the thing. That's the one that really variables the most. So.
Yeah, and you did hit the ball well enough against East Carolina, but certainly in the first game against East Carolina, 12-0 victory, so the big bats got out. And then Emily Watson, and this is somewhat stunning for those of you who have followed this year, this is her first no-hitter ever, which is surprising as dominant as she's been this year, huh? Yeah,
she's been close. You know, a lot of one-hitters that hit late in the game, so she's had quite a few of those, but this was her first no-hitter.
And of course, again, you got things going, and if you're able to shorten games, win in 5 innings as you did, it's important in a 3-game set, isn't it?
Oh, it is. You know, and with Emily, it really showed through, because we had to go 12 innings the very next day, and I had planned to pitch her back-to-back, kind of get her back used to doing that. She did that a lot at the beginning of the year when we were in our non-conference tournament season. But you know, when you get into a tournament or you get into regional situations, you're probably going to pitch back-to-back days a lot more, and so kind of wanted to get her more accustomed to that again, and you know, then she ends up throwing, you know, almost 100 more pitches the next day than she did the first day.
Yeah, so she wins those first 2 games for you. In that first game, 4 different players had 2 hits, so that was great to see. Riley Spell is starting to hit the long ball for you a little bit, kind of lower in the lineup, and that's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, about a month ago we changed her stance, you know, and you know, ever since then we feel like she's been giving better, more competitive at-bats. We've always known she's had power. You come to one of our batting practices and it's very obvious there, but it's allowing her to get on time a little bit better, maybe have a little less head movement, you know, in her swing, and so she's been squaring up more balls lately.
And of course, it's easy to talk about Julia Hollingsworth and some of the really successful hitters you've had, but it was good to see Morgan Neal get 3 hits in the second game. She's starting to hit the ball a little better now? Or?
She has, and she really hit the ball a lot better at UConn as well. Just happened to hit the ball right at people, but yeah. You know, she definitely, that second game, she came out and hit 3 line drives, and that's the Morgan that we're used to.
Yeah, and certainly as you go to the final game, you know that Houston has lost one of their games in their series because they played a doubleheader early. So you go to Sunday knowing that if you win, you know, you've actually wrapped up the regular season championship. Take us through that game. How did that game go, and how gratifying was it for you to win the game without Emily Watson?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, and that's something that our pitchers, I think there's only been, well, obviously we're 14-1, so there's only been one time where our pitchers have fallen behind in a game, that, you know, that we're pitching a game that Emily was not pitching. And our other 3 pitchers, Lexi Blevins, early in the season before she got hurt, she did a good job in a couple of conference games for us, but the combination of Madison Higley starting, you know, going a time through the lineup or so, and then Haley Minen coming in, you know, they've just been outstanding here in the last 2 or 3 weekends, and have come up with some big wins for us. But you know, they kind of follow the same script. You know, we didn't score a bunch of runs for them. Haley does a great job of coming in and getting ahead of hitters, and she makes them hit the pitch that she wants them to hit, and gets a lot of soft contact. But she did a real nice job against some hitters that have some powerful numbers.
And when you get into tournament time, you're going to need your other pitchers a little bit. Somewhere in there, you're going to have to eye-drop in somebody else, right?
Yeah, every regional I've ever been to, you know, we've always had to use 2 and 3 pitchers to get through it. So, you know, hopefully, you know, Haley's pitching with a lot of confidence, and so that's the thing that you just want. them to continue to do.
And of course, in that final game, the 2-0 win over East Carolina, which clinches it, Shelby Estacado with a couple of hits. And again, somebody lower in your lineup starting to produce for you.
Yeah, actually, the last 2 games, I think the lower lineup, really came through and got a bunch of hits and gave us several scoring opportunities generated off of that. And so, I've always talked about trying to get a lengthened lineup, and trying to settle in. And again, we made a switch, a couple of weeks ago. We kind of switched Shelby and Shannon with Haley and Riley, and so far I kind of like the results of what that's been able to produce.
Absolutely. And when you win the game 2-0, you get that final out in the bottom of the 7th inning. What's that feeling like? Knowing that you've won a championship and you've accomplished one of your goals.
Yeah, and that's obviously a great feeling. I'm to the point where I really enjoy watching the looks on the girls' faces when they won that conference championship. Just pure elation from that standpoint. Haley made it a little interesting in the last inning, getting 2 runners on and then giving up a big long foul ball home run. But she got it in enough. As soon as she hit it, I knew it was foul. But she goes, "Sorry for the extra."
A little nervousness.
Yeah,
there, huh?
she said, it kind of made it a little bit more nervous than I should have, there. But it was a great feeling. And the interesting thing too is about the 10th inning, I used the, hey, you win this game, you're conference champs. In that one where we clinched the share of it,
right,
because
right.
I mean we were dog tired. It's hot, and you get into extra innings and hitters start trying to do maybe a little bit too much, try to end it, type of deal. And so I kind of used that just because I had heard that somebody had lost, and so I knew that if we won that game, and so I kind of used that as a little motivation, and I think they went to the 11th and then the 12th. We got the 2 runs there.
And the Hurricane winning the American Athletic Conference Championship, which, by the way, will be back in Greenville, right, in a couple of weeks. So it's good to have that experience on that field. But now you have 3 games against UCF starting at 5 o'clock on Friday at home. A couple of things to accomplish there. What do you look for going into that series, knowing that you've already wrapped up the regular season?
Well, I just, just really, it's a cliche, but you just want to keep playing the way you've been playing. I mean, we've been playing so well in all the phases of the game. You look at our defensive percentage, we're making the plays, our pitchers are making the pitches, and we're either coming up with timely hittings, or then there's been some games where we've really gotten off. And one of the things that I've always talked to the team about every weekend, I said, every weekend there's going to be a 1-run game.
Yeah. It
seems like in a conference, and sometimes 2. And so we just have to be prepared for that going into every series. And it'll be the same thing for this series. This is a team that, when you look at their lineup, they may have one of the better hitting lineups in the conference. And so, we just have to be at the top of our game again going in. We're not the type of team to just show up and say, hey, we're just going to dominate whoever the competition shows. We have to come up, show up, fight, grind at bats, make plays, be into it mentally, be into it with the energy, and that's what we've been doing, and that's what we look to continue to do.
Yeah, and certainly take some momentum into the conference championship coming up. 5 o'clock on Friday, that game is on the American Digital Network, and then of course on TulsaHurricane.com through the weekend. And before we close it out though, special weekend day when you say goodbye to the seniors. I mean, that's always a little emotional too, right?
Right, yeah. Sunday game is going to be that senior, and we always do ours after because we like to take the time. We like to give everybody a chance to get all the pictures that they want and things of that nature. And then I think they're also going to recognize after the game on Saturday, I think they're going to recognize our regular season championship. And so there'll be a little short ceremony after that game on Saturday as well.
So come on out to TU to watch Tulsa against UCF this weekend. Coach, congratulations on a championship and keep it going.
All right, thank you, Bruce.
Head coach John Barfield, University of Tulsa softball.